Bon Jovi, Thomas Edison, baseball, bubble wrap. What do all of these have in common? You'll find out on this episode of PlayUSA to Z. I'm Jessica Welman, back again for one more installment of PlayUSA to Z before we put the rolling dumpster fire that is 2020 to rest. And appropriately, dumpsters in the waste management industry are at the heart of the state we are celebrating today, New Jersey. But before I fire up the Sopranos theme song, the usual business. I am obviously far from the only thing on this channel, and maybe you want something a little lighter than a grown woman discussing the news with stuffed animals. And we have you covered. So, by all means, like this video, subscribe to our channel, ring the bell for notifications, but take a look at the other vids that the PlayUSA video channel has to offer, alright? Okay, I know one of our national pastimes is to mock New Jersey for everything, but when it comes to online gambling, we can really only talk about New Jersey in an aspirational way. Here's why. On Monday, the Division of Gaming Enforcement in New Jersey released the numbers for New Jersey gambling in November. After taking $803 million in bets in October, Garden State Sportsbook smashed that record with almost $932 million in bets. Let's just take a second and walk through the past few months. August had $668 million in bets. September had almost $749 million, and as I mentioned, we cracked $800 million last month. Throw in $932 million this past month, and that is a 40% increase in handle in 4 months for what is already the most mature online sportsbook market in the country. This isn't like Illinois just getting started and there's so much room to grow. This is a market that took its first online bet in 2018. With so much handle, Sportsbook generated $50 million in revenue. It also brings the yearly amount of bets wagered in New Jersey to more than $5 billion. And let me take a minute to talk about the real moneymaker, online casinos. The online casino industry continues to bring in like $3 million a day in revenue for almost $92 million in revenue for the month. Across gambling expansion in New Jersey, state casinos brought in over $140 million in revenue in a month, where land-based casinos dipped 35% year over year. And we're fast approaching a situation in New Jersey where online revenues and expansion will eclipse what land-based casinos are generating. Granted, this is somewhat the result of COVID-19 related restrictions in Atlantic City, but if anything, that's all the more reason to pay attention to these numbers. In a time where states are hemorrhaging money and losing massive revenue from casino closures, New Jersey shows how gambling expansion is more than just a drop in the bucket for both casinos and for the states. Look no further than Indiana, where Hoosier bettors set another record for sports betting with $250 million in handle. What's interesting to note about these numbers is that they keep climbing despite what we assumed would be stiff competition from the Illinois market. Yet it seems like Indiana is hanging in just fine with 5 consecutive months of growth. Since August, when the state took around $170 million in bets, handle has ballooned 48% to roughly $250 million in wagers accepted in November. Now, one state that is taking a serious look at all these numbers is New York. I know talking about online sports betting in New York is just a Charlie Brown with the football kind of situation, but given that if New York passes online sportsbook legislation, not registration, there's no IPR this episode, it's a game changer, so I'm going to give it some lip service just in case. New York's hard up for tax dollars. There's a $50 billion shortfall at the moment, according to State Senator Joseph Addabbo. That means the legislature is facing a lot of pressure to get some sort of bill to generate revenue for the state going and pass before the year wraps. Because when you throw in bureaucracy, like Governor Cuomo has 10 days to evaluate a bill and it doesn't count on Sundays and blah, 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 it has to happen this week in order to happen by the end of the year. Right now, the state speaker of the House has committed to putting online sports betting in a revenue bill if it happens. The current iteration of that sports betting legislation allows for only a single skin. But sports betting supporters in Albany are trumping the benefits of the $84 million in additional licensing revenue if you did have a 2-skin system. Now, the New York legislature was hoping Congress would just pass a second relief bill, but now that that is still not happening, it seems like the time to act at the local level is now. And if you want to act at the local level and you're a New Yorker who wants online sports betting, take a second and go to www.playny.com/action. We have an incredibly simple tool there. You put in your address, it identifies the state lawmakers that represent you, and it'll create a letter and a social media message that you can just send both with a click of the button. It is a seriously simple way to make your voice heard, and that's the most effective way to try and get online sports betting happening in New York by the end of the year. All right, now with NFL season wrapping up, the collegiate postseason's almost underway, there's potential for more record revenue numbers in December, unless you're Michigan. If you're Michigan, you've got 3 more Lions games to bet on. You have the Big Ten championship on the horizon. You have 2 ranked college basketball teams who are both undefeated, and you have basically nowhere to bet on them. Michigan commercial casinos in Detroit are closed by government mandate, and many tribal casinos have voluntarily closed their doors as well. That means in a month where sports betting handle could break more records, in a state which legalized sports betting a year ago, basically no one can bet on sports in Michigan. Unless you're going to a retail sports book at a tribal casino, there is currently nowhere in the state to bet. Yes, buddy. Yes. All of Michigan online gambling launches will take place in 2021. The hope is the first apps go live in mid-January. The hope. As we've seen in other states, it's a process. While Michigan continues to lose out on basically any casino revenue at all, other states dealing with casino closures are handling things a little better. Like Michigan, both Illinois and Pennsylvania do not have commercial casinos open right now. Illinois closed all of its casinos last month. Pennsylvania Governor Tom Wolf ordered both commercial casinos and video gambling terminal locations closed last week until at least January 4th. Thankfully, in both states, online gambling revenues are up and running, and it's keeping the industry going. As more states contemplate casino closures, more states really should contemplate gambling expansion. The Garden State shows you how ripe this market is. Revenue's growing like a weed, and when your garden is dying, you have to start seriously considering getting some green from wherever you can. Hear me, lawmakers? I hope so. All right, I'm going to go dig up some metaphors to stockpile for the 2021 legislative season. In the meantime, though, enjoy your holiday time, and I'll see you next time on PlayUSA. Tizzy.